tonight.
Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre. The Leafs and the Carolina Hurricanes here tonight, meeting for the first time in 3 times they will meet this season. And we are underway, and glad you're along with us here on Leafs TV. Joe Bowen along with Greg Dillon and Harry Neal. As it's played down into the Carolina zone, and Boland is pinned to the boards as it's flipped by Bellemore around the boards to the near side. Yuri Talusti gets it out at center, and it is shot right back down into the Carolina zone. Ward playing it around back of the goal, and it's up onto the wing, and out at center ice come the Hurricanes. Onto the left wing side, a long shot, knocked down but smothered by the Leaf netminder, and Reimer got nailed, and he is down and slow to get up, and lost his helmet in the exchange as well, as colliding with him was Josh Leivo.
And Leivo not doing very well either as he goes to the bench. What a collision this is. A little outside drive here by Stahl, and then Leivo just can't get out of the way of him as when Reimer went out to cover the rebounder. He lets the rebound go and he jumps out, and Josh Leivo can't get out of the way, and Reimer, who's had issues before in this area in terms of his concussions, is down again.
Well, guys, he's right to the right of Paul and myself here, and his neck snapped big time right there on that play. So he's in some serious discomfort, but hopefully I think he's going to bounce back here, but that's a heavy collision.
Yeah, the Giunta collision was October 22nd, 2011, so this looked very familiar.
And Bernier, I think, will be in this game as he's beginning to realize that as well. He's going over and stretching, and Reimer now getting up, but slowly.
So we will see what the decision is made, but Reimer's putting the mask back on. Bernier's halfway over the boards, and Reimer is going to leave. Yep, he's leaving the game. So the defenders of the Disc Dungeons tonight have changed some 32 seconds into this contest, as Jonathan Bernier, with a record of 1-1-0 lifetime against the Carolina Hurricanes and a 2.52 goals against average in those games, will come into the game, and Cam Ward, 13-8-2 lifetime against the Leafs, is down at the other end, sporting a 2.78 goals against average in those games against Toronto. So an unfortunate situation here. Josh Leivo, if he dives over him, he probably goes headfirst into the board.
I think he tried to get away, but he just couldn't go anywhere on that particular
what's
play.
What's it like to be a goaltender who didn't warm up too enthusiastically, sitting on the bench, and whammo, you're in?
It's not easy, Harry, and you just want to get a feel for the puck early and that first shot out of the way.
Did you ever have to come in this early, Greg? Can you ever think of a game where you might have had to come in this early?
I can never think of one coming in right away like this, Joe.
Here's Raymond with a shot, the rebound! Oh, and an excellent save made there by Ward's left pad. Carl Gunnarsson and Dion Phaneuf exchanging the discs, and it played back down in off Bozak Stent. Round back of the net, played up on the wing and out by Alexander Semin to center. Stahl sends a long shoot in, and Bernier may send a little thank you note for that one, since it was from about 102 feet out.
Big thank you note.
Yep. Onto the wing and back to the blue line for Bellemore. Long shot deflected right on. Bernier down, and it's underneath him. The second shot was a lot more difficult than the first one.
You know, many have been questioning the 2-goalie system here in Toronto. It's been a real topic of conversation. I wonder if that'll stop now. So all of a sudden, you've got a situation where you've got 2 good goalies. Reimer comes out, and you've got a very capable Bernier going right in quickly in this game.
And Harry, the other thing is, why don't you trade one of them and get something good for them? Why don't we do? All of a sudden, you see maybe why they don't.
And you need 2 goaltenders. That's pretty obvious in this game. But both these guys have played well. It's a great spot for Randy Carlyle. He's right whoever he picks.
Not many coaches can say that.
That's for sure. Some of them are looking for the 3rd guy to put in.
Or 4th. Lupul unable to get the puck in over the line, and it's into the center ice area. As Ranger pass intercepted, brought in by Skinner, and his shot is deflected off Jake Gardner's stick and ramped up into the screen and out of play. So a large turn of event starting here as you get a look at the defenders of the Disc Dungeons tonight. They were sort of the starting goaltenders. Bernier and board. They'll hopefully get a report on James Reimer.
Is it true you're the third goalie, Greg?
Not a chance. Although I take the paycheck there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I thought you loved the game.
Not that much.
Really liked it the 15th and the 30th.
Into the corners. Kadri getting it around on the boards. Centering pass goes off David Brohl's stick, but it's going to deflect into the stands. And out of play, and a face-off will come in the circle to the right. And Randy Carlyle has already had to make a major change in his lineup.
And Reimer is not in the game. Obviously, we'll take one more look at this hit. He goes out to get a rebound that he lets go here early, and when he does that, Leivo has his head down and then does not see Reimer out at all. You can see that Leivo feels just as badly as anybody on the play.
Face
They
off.
want credit for the hit, will they?
I don't think so. Draw one by the Hurricanes, but then blocked. Brought out at center ice by Colton Orr, who sends it down into the Kane zone. Ashton around back of the net, pushed into the corner. Trevor Smith, who scored his first Leaf goal the other night, on the center position on this line. And out come the Hurricanes to center ice with Bowman trying to get it in over the line. A hit there from Cody Franson forces the offside. The Leafs lead the National Hockey League in hits, which is something that they did a year ago. 218, make it 219 right there.
Well, that's one of the trademarks of Randy Carlyle's coaching philosophy. Get in the face of the opposition and try and do it without taking penalties.
And arriving ill humor. 26th hit for Franson, which leads the Leafs. That was the turning point of that young man's season a year ago. As an offside comes at the Hurricanes blue line, Cody Franson has been a much more physical force here than he was, say, in Nashville.
Yeah, I talked to Randy Carlyle too, Joel, about the defensive game this morning, and I said, is there any particular area that you don't like more than another? He said, not really. One of his concerns is he feels that the players are not working hard without the puck, and they have to up their level of intensity in that area. He says it's been a tough sell, however, and Harry, you know all about this because the team's winning, and it's tougher for a coach to get that through to them when the team's had success. You can't kick them in the butt maybe the way you'd like to.
You can, but not as hard.
Lifted over on the far side. Jay Harrison gets it through. Stahl with a shot, and that went high and wide of the net as Jordan Stahl missed the target. Thrown back in again by Ryan Murphy, and Franson goes back to recover it for Toronto. Cody Franson up ahead for Jay McClement, and McClement just launches it down into Carolina territory. 16:52 to go here in the first period. If you joined us late, James Reimer started the game, but in an early collision just 19 seconds into the game with teammate Josh Leivo, he was forced to leave the game after Leivo's knee struck him in the head. Sakura gets it out into the center ice area, and a bouncing puck is swatted back to the blue line. To the line, trying to get it in there was Bozak, and he just failed to connect with Raymond. Pass flex down into the Toronto zone. Carl Gunnarsson around back of the net with Phaneuf off his stick, but right onto the stick of the Carolina player to Eric Stahl. Stahl to the near side to Alexander Semin, but that was intercepted, and Kessel starts out only to have it blocked by Semin and controlled and skated back into his own zone. Here's the former Washington Capital across the line. Tried to drop it back for Ruutu, and a hit there, and a long shoot-in on Bernier is thrown aside, and Captain Dion Phaneuf stands back of the net as the teams change. No score, first period here in Toronto. Leafs trying to ratchet up their home fourth victory of the year, and overall a record of 7-1. Here's Ranger with a try, and that was more of an effort to get Kadri to redirect, but the glove save made by Ward and Hell.
Well, the Carolina Hurricanes have run into the same problem in terms of the goal position. Last Sunday, Anton Khudobin, the player that was in Boston all last year, the Hurricanes picked him up as a free agent, got him for a good price, around $800,000. He's played very well, and his knee just collapsed right underneath him. The injury looked horrible when he left the ice. The good news for Carolina is he may be back next week, and if not next week, the following week, so it wasn't nearly as bad as it initially looked.
Now Lupul against the boards, unable to keep it in, pushed ahead at center ice. Here's Skinner trying to drive, but can't get around Jake Gardiner, two of the premier skaters in the NHL right there. Up on the wing and pushed to center ice by Toronto. Carolina trying to bring it back in, turned over. Kadri being surrounded, but doesn't get the puck deep. And it'll be regrouped here by the Hurricanes, and now Dvorak sends it down into the Toronto zone. Bernier played it away, and Carter Ashton finds some skating room to his liking, sends it in. Ward mishandled the puck, had to play it in the corner. A couple of Leafs collide there, and Smith and Orr, and it is now around on the near side, brought out by Jordan Staal. Pass through center ice, hustling in there after it is Nathan Gerbe. Former Buffalo Sabre gets around back of the net, gets it into the slot. The Leafs are able to come away with it and play it to the line, and Ashton doesn't get it out. Gerbe with it again. Over on the far side, Harrison shot is wide of the goal. Near side for Ashton, but not out. A point shot deflects in front of the goal. It's still free. Taken to safety by Trevor Smith. Smith trying to slow things down, finds Morgan Riley. Here's the youngster carrying it out at center. His teammates are changing, and Ashton needs to change as well, so he sends the shot in that's gloved by Ward and held for a face-off.
The first period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Proline. Get way into the game. By Purolator. Excitement delivered. By 5 Hour Energy. And by Ford. Go further.
You are on a roll down there, Mr. Hendrick.
One of my better reads
Yes, it was.
tonight.
Unfortunately, it's a back roll.
The draw is to the right of Ward. No score first period. Draw one and a shot by McClement deflects off the glass. Justin Folk playing it around back of his own goal. Sakura gets it ahead at center, and now it is shot by Eric Staal down into the Toronto zone. Bernier playing it away and then got upended, and there's going to be a penalty here. Eric Staal upended the Leaf netminder, and so there will be a penalty here to the Hurricanes. The game are brought to you by Tim Hortons, Canada's favorite coffee.
Well, the keys for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the special teams are so hot at the moment, and the depth and attack, they're getting scoring from all 4 lines. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, they have not had good starts at all. They're pretty good at takeaways. Their special teams, however, in Carolina have been atrocious so far, and that's cost some hockey games. And here's a look at the penalty here. As Staal trips up Jonathan Bernier, and that's why he's in the penalty box, as you would say, Harry, for 2 or less.
That was a fairly obvious penalty, wasn't it, Mr. Neal?
I would say, no doubt about that. The circumstantial evidence on that play was as strong as finding a trout in your glass of milk.
Only happened to me once. All the power plays in tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto are brought to you by Just Energy. Energy made easy. Offside at the Carolina blue line. Let's hope this is not an issue. But if Jonathan Bernier was hurt, there was an incident a couple of years ago. Scotty McKay, who was a Leaf trainer and had played goal, was dressed in the Toronto dressing room. And we bring that up. Scotty McKay's been dealing with health issues, and we wish him all of the best, of course. But it was one of the more proud nights for him, although while he was dressed, he was sweating profusely for fear that he might actually have to go in.
And the Marlies, Joe, by the way, are not in the area. They're in Rochester as they play there tomorrow night, so that is not an option.
So between you and Ralph down the hall.
Oh, but you saw Johnny Bauer.
Johnny Bauer's in attendance. Good. All right. Well, then a Hall of Famer would be a lot better than having Millen or Ralph play goal. Here's a centering pass in Phaneuf. Steps in and gets around one. Looks for a man in front. He does! And it went off the skate of Justin Falk just wide. Another shot stopped by Ward. Rebound in front of the goal is backhanded in front. Another pass by Boland didn't reach its intended receiver as Kessel was right there. Sent right back down the ice. Brought out now by, almost given away right in front of the net by Cranston, but to the line. Just 35 seconds left in the penalty as Gardiner goes back into his own zone. At center is Boland. He drops the puck back. Fed around the boards by Bozak. Kessel is able to get to it first at the half boards, looking for room, gets it back to the blue line. Riley sends it into the corner for Poland. He collides in there with a hit by Belmore. Kessel has the puck back to the blue line and gets it returned. Cross-ice speed, hit a leg. Derby in the way, and it's shot down the ice by the Hurricanes. Back in the old days, in the 50s and 60s, teams carried one goaltender. Jerry Topazzini, the former Boston Bruin, on 3 occasions. Here's a chance in front. Oh, what a save by Ward. Just to finish that story, 3 occasions had to play goal. He totaled 60 minutes and never gave up a goal, which he has the league's best goals against average in the history of the NHL.
When I played junior, either the goalie for Marlborough or St. Mike's had to go to the game, and he backed up both teams.
Kadri in front, another tripping penalty coming here. Ruutu going to the box just after Eric Staal had got back into the game. So the Leafs to their second power play. They are second in the NHL in power play proficiency.
Well, it's all about speed here, and the Leafs with a pretty good rush chance. And in the middle of the ice, Raymond goes to the net. He gets hauled down, and that's where he's in the box.
8:42. And in case of emergency, there he is. Sitting beside Tim Leiweke is John Bauer.
Eligible as an overage, I think, guys.
Yeah, he said he would be. He would be.
Wonder where his equipment is. It's in the Hall of Fame. He sent somebody over to get it.
I'm pretty sure in this day and age he wouldn't want to wear that stuff. Sekera sends it around the boards and it's out and down the ice. Ruutu for tripping. Second straight power play for the Maple Leafs, who are out shooting the Canes 7-4. Here's Franson working it back to the blue line, dishes it off for Kessel. Kessel to the half boards, looks back of the net, now works back and holds. He's got traffic developing in front, but nowhere to go with the puck so far. Now he gets it to the side of the net, and a quick pass by Bozak, intended for Dave Bolland, didn't make it through. Carried to center by Pat Dwyer and sent down into the Leaf zone. Minute 22 left in the power play. Here's Kadri. Had his pass blocked by Yuri Tlusty. Franson drops it back, and Phaneuf trying to stretch things out in the neutral zone finds Kadri, who gets it across the line for Mason Raymond. A drop pass for Phaneuf, fired in because he had to keep it in quickly. Now back to the blue line to Franson. Over to Phaneuf. Phaneuf fakes the shot. Franson gets a try. Nope, he'll come back to Phaneuf. Phaneuf doesn't shoot it, gets it down low. Back to Phaneuf again. Phaneuf moving to the middle of the ice. Lots of traffic there as Lupul now dishes it off. Now the shot coming, and it's high and wide. Rebound to the side of the net. Mason Raymond cycles it back into the corner for Kadri. Kadri battles along the boards to Phaneuf. Out to Franson. Franson holds off to the wing. Raymond with a spinning move, trying to elude Ron Hainsey there. Back to the point to Phaneuf. Phaneuf holds. Bank pass to the side of the goal, hoping to get it in front, but it didn't work. Rattled off the wall and down the ice by the Hurricanes' Brett Belmore.
That shooting it wide from the point really works in Montreal with those boards. Not nearly as good here.
Here's Gardner getting it up onto the wing, and Riley pokes it for McClement. That didn't work, and the penalty will expire with Gardner back behind his own goal. So the Leafs 0 for 2 with the man advantage and no score in the hockey game. A pass for Dave Bolland comes in front of the goal. They had to wave it off, I think, because of the play of Ward, and it's back down the ice now into Toronto territory. Gardner back of the goal. This completes a 3-game homestand for the Maple Leafs. They'll fly Friday and play Saturday against the Stanley Cup champions in Chicago. Dave Bolland's first test against his former mates in Carolina, starting a 4-game road trip of their own here tonight. Here's Raymond across the line, rolls it in front of the net. Ward steering it wide. Carl Gunnarsson trying to get it back along the boards, and Kessel steps off the wing. His snapshot is right on. Ward made the save there and holds on for a face-off in the Carolina zone. From the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, you're watching Molson Canadian Leafs hockey here on Leafs TV.
what they're going to work on throughout the camp and maybe through the season. For Kirk Muller, it was defensive play. He felt that their team had to be better in those one-goal games and tighten up defensively. It's been quite a challenge, though, because they've had Detroit, Pittsburgh, LA, and Chicago already in the schedule. So a very difficult schedule, and Eric Stahl's just getting going again after coming off an injury that happened at the World Championships last year. It's been a bit of a work in progress. He's got a young team, but he's doing an excellent job and a real good coach for this hockey club.
Draw won by Toronto. Franson's shot went wide, but there's a whistle here, and interference is called. And Jay McClement is coming to the penalty box.
Kirby trying to get out to the point on the Toronto Maple Leaf win on the face-off. And there was the hold-up. And they'll call that every time off the face-off. If you can make the guy take the long trip around you, but you can't follow him and hook him.
So they'll play 4-on-4 for a bit here. 11:43 the time of the McClement penalty, and a shot right on. There's a rebound, and it's slashed away from harm's way there by Carl Gunnarsson and launched on a bounce down on Ward.
I think Ward lost that for a minute, the way he reacted in the last second.
So the first penalty kill situation, and the Leafs' best penalty killer is in the penalty box. Swept around the boards on the near side. Here's Skinner dropping it back, and out of position was Ryan Murphy. The Aurora native goes back to pick it up. Now Murphy sliding back into his own zone. Ted Scarf, the longtime president of the Kitchener Rangers, wanted to remind me about Skinner and Murphy being teammates down in Kitchener with the Rangers. That's a giveaway by Skinner, and a chance for Bozak. Raymond trying to jump in. Does! What a save by Ward! Holy mackerel, that was a brilliant save.
A great play on a 2-on-1 rush. Skinner, who's turned the puck over twice on this 4-on-4 situation. Here's the second one, and away they go. Not often can you complete the pass on a 2-on-1. Well done, and a great stop.
And that's just about athletic ability. I mean, Ward does whatever he can just to get across and get any piece of his equipment on the puck. And a beautiful scramble play by the goaltender, and a terrific play by the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. Just a better save.
56 seconds left in the penalty to McClement. And it is shot down the ice and into the Carolina zone.
One thing the Leafs have improved, they've had 10 shots this period. Tuesday night, they had 7 in the first 2 periods.
7 on the left wing side.
Cam Ward likes this building. He's played very well in here.
8-3-2 at the Air Canada Centre. .931 save percentage, 2.43, and a couple of whitewashes. So you're right, Millsy, he has. It was supposed to be a battle of former Red Deer Rebels. But James Reimer having to leave the game, and a hook coming here against Alexander Semin for hooking. So the Leafs, this whole period has been penalties and power play opportunities, still no score.
Tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Molson Canadian diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
And the Leafs have been really calling it tight tonight for the refs so far, and just a little grab with his right arm is when the arm went up. And Semin can't believe it.
13:35, the time of the penalty to Alexander Semin. They call it holding. And the Leafs on the power play. A pass into the corner, near side, and Lupo couldn't come up with it. And Patrick Dwyer gets it in over the line. Jordan Stahl taking it wide. Tied up there, a centering pass. Goes back to Stahl, back to the blue line, and they'll rag the puck at center ice a bit. Brett Belmore taking his time before shooting it in. Jake Gardiner spins to get away from one, then gives it ahead. And here the Leafs coming to center with Lupul's pass. And bogged down at the blue line, so they'll have to try and stretch it out again. Gardiner onto the left wing side for Mason Raymond. Raymond gives the puck away with a pass into the slot, and it's an easy clear here for Carolina's penalty kill. And it's 12 to go in it. Here's Raymond in over the line with his speed. He almost had a jump on Justin Falk. That draws a crowd, and Falk comes out with the puck, and he'll backhand it out and down the ice. Telling his goaltender to leave it. And starts out as the Leafs are trying to change their power play allotment. Played in over the line by Dave Bolland. Into the corner goes Bozak. Bolland got it free, but Falk has it around back of the net. Chased by Bozak. Falk's going to get it to center and send it the rest of the way down into the Toronto end. 4:57 to play in the period. Still no score and a half minute to go in this power play. Enough. Snaps it in and around the boards far side. Bozak let it go to Kessel. Kessel works it back to the blue line. A quick shot in front. Oh, and Bolland had that surprise him and wasn't able to get his stick on it. Now a shot is gloved by Ward. He saw that one all the way from Cody Franson. And a face-off coming in the face-off circle to his left.
Well, the Hurricanes had a high pick in this previous draft, and Elias Lindholm is a real good young prospect. Unfortunately for him against the Los Angeles Kings, he got hurt with 2 hits with his shoulder. This actually started with the youngster in the prospect camp in July where he hurt his shoulder, and it's never been quite right yet. But it's the second generation. He had a father that played for the Los Angeles Kings and got in 18 games as well.
5th overall in the first round of last year's draft.
A complete player, Joe, and they really like him already in Carolina. And like all those Swedes, they're all such terrific people. And just another example, this youngster is very well liked by Jim Rutherford, Ron Francis, and their management team.
He and Ryan Murphy took their North Carolina driving test last week. Elias failed his, didn't study according to Ryan, and Ryan got his.
And slowly but surely, this team is building prospects that are very, very good players. Ryan Murphy's had a good start as well here in Carolina on the blue line.
Jay Harrison got it up along the wing. Now fed ahead to Grayson Bowman, who carries in over the Toronto line. Forced back by Carl Gunnarsson. Fed around back of the net. Alexander Semin couldn't get to it. Comes to the side of the goal, centered in front of the net. A shot right on. And that was stopped by Bernier on the short side. Good chance there for Bowman. Here's Gunnarsson getting it freed up, and the Leafs finally get it out. And at center it's Kessel. Kessel in over the line. Works into the corner. Flips it around back to the net for Bozak. Gardner had gone to the front of the net for them. Now here is a chance in front for David Brohl, but Kessel couldn't get him the puck. Brohl works into the corner with it. Brohl cycling it around for Bozak. Bozak trying to poke it back to the blue line and has some room now for Gardner and a shot, and that was wide of the net. Ward was pushed out of the goal in a collision in front with Brohl, and the puck comes to center ice. Ruutu across the line, and back checking is David Brohl to knock it away there from Alexander Semin. Morgan Riley slides it ahead for Kadri. Kadri taking it wide against Belmore. Around back of the net and into the corner. Lupul is bodied. Kadri unable to get it back. Was knocked down on the play. Carter Ashton goes into the corner. Back of the net now. Here's a swinging stick check by Ward and a good one. Ron Hextall used to do that, except the stick was up above your neck.
Equally effective, as I recall.
Exactly. You left the puck immediately. Centering pass, that went just wide of Ward. And out at center ice comes Westgard. Long shoot-in steered wide into the corner by Bernier. Up ahead for Carter Ashton, and we get a whistle. Slashing call coming here. And I believe it's going to the Maple Leafs. We'll sort it out when we come back. No score.
Paul Ranger is in the penalty box for slashing. It's along the boards, and he gets a little bit of a battle, just a little shot to the arm, and that's why he's in the box. And David Brohl with a real good defensive play. The Leafs get caught. Riley Morgan gets caught in there, and here they come. And watch Brohl right through the middle of the ice. He'll put his head down, skate right to the middle, and make a good defensive play. And that's one of the reasons why the youngster has been able to stay in the National Hockey League, is his defensive game so far has been excellent for Toronto.
Second power play opportunity for the Hurricanes. Fault to the far boards, brings it around to the near side. It'll be trapped there by Skinner. Skinner works off the half boards, had it poked away. Bozak unable to reach it. Back down into the corner. It comes back to Skinner. Skinner steps in with a shot. Pad save made by Bernier. Back of the net, Carl Gunnarsson and Phaneuf are in there. They battle as it comes free and right onto Bozak's stick. Bozak finds an opening and sends it coolly down the ice.
Yeah, and Morgan Riley on that last play just went a little bit too aggressive to pinch down, didn't get the puck, and that's why David Boll had to come back through the middle and make such a terrific defensive play.
Here's Murphy sending it in. It hits the linesman, allowing Raymond to carry to center. He's going to take his time before sending it in a little deeper. Minute and a half to go in the period. Minute 5 now left in the power play. Justin Faulk hits the Toronto blue line with a nifty move to get around Bolin. Down into the near corner it comes. Gardner unable to get it away. Ruutu back to the blue line to Semin. Semin to the far side for Sekera, and the shot is knocked away by Franson but not out. Semin with it again. Stahl in position to take the pass and the shot, and he just missed. Down in front of the net, Ruutu goes down. Puck on the far side. Less than a minute in the period. 30 in the penalty. Sekera with a shot that is stopped. It's cleared and it's going to get out and down the ice. In Buffalo, it was Sekera. Now this year, Sekera.
And if Carolina trades him, what is it going to be?
I don't know.
He's a good offensive defenseman. He'll help Carolina. That was one of their weak positions the last couple of years.
Stalled shot deflects wide of the net. Sekera to the far side. Now a centering pass goes wide. The penalty box door opens. Rangers back into the fray. Pass off the side of the net goes into the corner. Phaneuf arrives there. So does Riley Nash. This is Ruutu back of the goal. Down goes the Leaf defenseman Phaneuf. Puck far side. Sekera into the corner. Out of Ruutu. Ruutu tied up there by Phaneuf. He has the puck free but can't make a pass. Nash with it again. They bang and bash with it as it comes to the line. The horn will go to end a scoreless first period.
Well, the Leafs got some shots on goal. That was a big problem in their win the other night. They've had 12, but they can't put one by the Carolina goalie.
And at the other end, Bernier coming in relief very early in this game. I thought he was excellent, very steady. His rebound control is what it always is, and a good start for him coming in relief also.
Reimer out 32 seconds into the contest. Bernier in. No score after one. Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre. First period summary. Well, the most important thing came 32 seconds into the frame. That is when goaltender James Reimer, in a collision with Josh Leivo, had to leave the game after Leivo's knee struck the goaltender in the head. And so Jonathan Bernier has taken over. But you see the other statistical information there. So we are underway. Neither team with a power play goal. The Leafs had 3 opportunities. The Canes 2. And an offside starts the proceedings here in period number 2.
12-10 the shots. Eric Stahl with 2 led Carolina, and Mason Raymond with 3 led the Leafs. No backup goalie on the Leaf bench.
You guys may have to take over. I got to go down and get my equipment. Leaf Press wasn't as enthusiastic as I was when I told them that I was available.
No, they sent somebody up here and told me to steal your car keys.
Along the boards, battling for Franson. Leivo got it free, but it comes back to the blue line. Swept back in by Belmore. Back of the net is Gerby. And along the wall it goes for Jordan Stahl. Stahl and Talusti free it up. Gerby around back and goes swung it in front. And unable to get a piece of it. Now in front. Big save Bernier. Another pass in front. Down is Bernier. Puck is still free. They're banging away at it. And it goes wide of the net. That was a wild scramble in front. Another shot. That goes off a body. And the Leafs trying to move the puck out. And Bolin will get it to center. And it's going to go off a Hurricane player down into the Carolina zone. McClement getting it in a little deeper. Hainsey, former Winnipeg Jet, got it out at center ice, and now here's Carl Gunnarsson. Drops it back for Phaneuf. Things are changing. Phaneuf will get to the red line and pepper it in off the glass. Bozak tips it back to the net. Raymond with a glance over his shoulder to find Kessel. Sent it back. That was cut off easily there by Stahl. And it'll be played off the boards. And a hit there straightens Ruutu up. Stahl into the corner. Bellemore gets it up on the wing. And turning with it is Alexander Semin. Back to Bellemore. Lead pass, Eric Stahl. It's a 2-on-1. Ruutu is with him. Stahl in with a pass. Ruutu got enough out of it, not enough to get it to the net. And a quick recovery by Bernier shuts the back door play on Stahl.
Bernier is very good at not getting out of position forward. And a lot of goalies in this particular play, once they get scrambling, end up on their stomach. And Gunnarsson gets caught way deep on this play here. A beautiful first pass to spring a 2-on-1. Now Bernier, what you like about this play is the way he's up. It gets right back to the post on Stahl. And a lot of goalies, as soon as his pass is made, it's a broken play, they'd be scrambling, they'd be on their stomach. Not Bernier, up on his feet, and then back into the butterfly to get across on the short side save.
Ruutu missed the shot, though. Let's be
Yeah, he
honest.
did. Yeah, he had a...
Because it was a great pass.
Too hard almost, Harry. Couldn't handle it.
Here's Lupul on the boards. Turnover, grabbed off by the Leafs, but not cleared. And now played on the glass and out at center. And here is a 2-on-1 developing the other way. Lupul tearing to the net. Shot, rebound, down his board. Another shot. Scores! Where the scramble at 1 inch went wide. Lupul's scramble ends up in the back of the net.
Well, we just saw a Leaf defenseman get trapped to give a 2-on-1 up. And Sekera, number 4 for Carolina, pinches and can't keep the puck in. And no forward back to help him, the 2-on-1. They didn't get the goal in the 2-on-1. They got it as a result of it. So.
And Ward here has to scramble, the old two-pad stack here almost, and then really Lupul just plain wins the battle on Falk as that puck was available right in front of Cam Ward, and the hot streak continues for Joffrey Lupul.
Yeah, he had a 4-game streak snapped the other night, but now he's got his 6th of the year. And the Maple Leafs have a 1-0 lead, but Stahl is in a goal! Oh my!
That's the best fake shot I've seen.
It worked. Stahl had that roll right off the toe of his stick. My goodness, you don't see that very often from that family.
And
Sure don't.
Jay Harrison with a beautiful pass, tape to tape. And Stahl is looking up at the skies on this one. Jordan's been mostly involved in shutting down some awful good center icemen the last 4 games that he played against Datsyuk. And here's the pass, and he just goes back to load up and just fans on it. Sidney Crosby shut him down. He doesn't have any goals, but he's been tremendous defensively so far in this early season.
He had his head up and forgot where the puck was by the look of it.
He went head-to-head against Taves the other night, did a good job on him also.
So it is still 1-0 Toronto. And into the screen off the blocking glove of Bernier, brings the face-off back in the Toronto zone to the right. Paul Ranger gets the lone assist on the Lupul goal, although Kadri was right in around the net as well. But at this point, Ranger gets the lone assist.
The Lone Ranger,
Not
Joe.
very often do you give up a 2-on-1 and then a breakaway and you're not scored on.
So there have been a number of odd man rushes in this period, and we are just 3 minutes and 5 seconds into it. Kessel won't beat Sekera to the puck this time. Played ahead at center. Ruutu over on the right wing side, and it is fed down into the Toronto zone. Back to the blue line. Sekera to the far side. Chopped in by Justin Falk. Bouncing puck corralled by Mason Raymond. Raymond looks to move out of the corner, but can't. Had it taken away. Trying to chop it ahead as Semin is on the boards with him there. Alexander Semin loses it as it comes in front, and it is Phaneuf now looking for an outlet. Phaneuf finds Kessel. Kessel to the line, will drop it off on the left wing for Mason Raymond, who drops it back to Phaneuf. Then around back of the net. But Falk is there in a lead pass at center. Gardner got back to break that up. Here's Bozak in across the line. He leaves it for Phaneuf. Enough down the boards will one-hand it back at the net for Kessel. Kessel's pass intercepted. Holt with a quick stick there, and it's played out and down the ice. And this will turn into an icing.
Well, Joffrey Lupul marched to 28th against the Carolina Hurricanes of last season. The last time Carolina was here, the winning goal he scored on a beauty as he walked right in on Justin Peterson. That was the game winner. And then tonight, a scramble play where he stays with it and chips it up over top of Cam Ward to give the Leafs a 1-0 lead here early in the second period.
And that point from Paul Ranger is a long time coming. It is his first as a Maple Leaf and first since his days in Tampa, so the Whitby native is on the score sheet. And the Leafs are as well, as it's 1-0. Semin didn't see that puck rolling at his feet. Leafs flip it in, and it's quickly sent back out again. Pass on the left wing side. Bowman's around the defense, and a goal! That save made by Bernier. And into the screen it went.
Ranger thought he could intercept the pass, and then found himself with no angle of pursuit at all against the Carolina player. There he is right there. Misses the interception, and Bowman walks in but can't beat the goaltender.
Starts with a turnover at the offensive blue line, though, guys, and a good quick transition play by Carolina.
Face-off coming to the right. Joe Bowen along with Greg Millen, Harry Neal. That was Bob McGill. And our very own intrepid reporter, Paul Hendrick, down at ice level.
Thank you.
Right, all right. Bounce back of the net. Rangers setting it on the boards. Carter Ashton got a piece of it, but from his side of center, another icing, and it'll be brought back into the Toronto zone.
You know, Bernier comes in a very difficult situation very early in period number one, but the one thing about a goalie that's so technically sound as Jonathan Bernier is, he's almost like a technician in there. He just does his thing, very calm, because his positional play is always in order. So he's not swinging all over the place, having to get mentally fired up to play the position. He just calmly goes in. He has something to grab onto every time he hits the crease because he is so technically almost perfect as a goalie.
Harrison bouncing it in wide of Bernier. Left there for Ranger, around on the boards. Ashton gets it out into the center ice area. Harrison with it again, flips it back in. Gardner pounds it back out, and it is pushed back in over the line. Now brought back by Skinner. Up on the right wing side. Nash gets it into the corner. Big Orr gets it around back of the net, and up the middle goes Gardner, and brought out at center ice now with a pass for Smith. Ashton carries in, got a shot away. That almost handcuffed Ward as it was deflected there by the defense. Skinner tied up with the puck out at center. Riley jumped back in, and then that is offside, and so a face-off coming in neutral ice.
The second period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Tim Hortons, Canada's favorite coffee, and by Just Energy. Energy made easy.
Paul Ranger's first point as a Maple Leaf. His last points came also against Carolina, October 10th, 2009. He had a goal and an assist in that game. Brought in over the line on a long shot. Bernier has thrown that up over the screen and into the crowd. And there'll be a souvenir taken home with that. Jonathan Bernier's last relief appearance was a pretty good one.
Yes, he came in and the Leafs beat Ottawa. He was as strong as he looks like he is tonight.
Did not give up a goal in that game.
See the smile there, talking to the official.
Always be nice to the officials, right, Millsy?
Well, the other way of looking at it is if you're really going to give him a tongue lashing, smile while you're doing it.
Then everybody
and you might get away with it.
Some guys always want to make sure they're friends with the linesman because they might not help them out once in a while.
Yeah, it's the toughest job in professional sports, I have to believe, and these guys do the best job in the world. Off the glass and down in over the line. Bozak.
Did you really just say that, Joe?
I did, and
Man, you've turned to what's going on here?
Hey, you can be critical of them too, but you have to understand, none of us would want the job.
Can you imagine playing that many games and never getting a win?
No, exactly.
And being blamed for a lot of losses.
Blame for all the losses.
We have to mark this day in the calendar.
No, we don't. No, we don't. There's Dion Phaneuf behind the net. He'll leave it for Carl Gunnarsson. Up on the right side for Kessel. Kessel to center ice and down into the Carolina zone it goes. Jordan Staal will go back to recover it as the Leafs get a player change going.
I think you're mellowing a little bit. You know that?
Well,
maybe
you know,
just a little
some
bit.
people
With
do.
age, maybe, you know? Just a tiny bit.
You didn't buy a striped shirt by chance.
No, I didn't. No, I never got one of those. Against the boards, fed off the wall and pushed out at center ice. Josh Leivo and McClement. Leivo taking it to the net. It'll go in. What a shot over the glove, and Josh Leivo gives the Leafs a 2-0 lead.
One thing a defenseman can't do when you're on the opposition's blue line is pinch and lose the face. The risk on that kind of a play far outweighs the profit. Look at Ford. Steps in, gets beaten, 2-on-1, and the next thing you know, it's 2-0. A poor decision.
His first National Hockey League goal, and Leivo the other night rang one off the goalpost. I talked to him this morning. He says, you know, I got to shoot more. Well, he's thinking shoot all the way, not even pass, because this kid has an NHL Major League shot at a very young age, and he shows you why. I think he's going to be a good goal scorer in this league someday. That was a beautiful shot against a very good goaltender. Good for him.
Josh Leivo has his first National Hockey League goal. Here's Kadri trying to push the attack. And it's down into the Toronto zone. The Innisfil, Ontario native has made it 2-0. Oh, they're dancing in the streets of Innisfil. Here's a wraparound attempt. Doesn't come from Kadri. Played back into the corner. Sent round back. Goes to the far side to Ranger. He sends it to the side of the goal, but it's cut off there by Riley Nash. Out into the center ice area. Right back into Carolina territory. Boland and Riley draw the assists. Couple of youngsters there. Riley with his 4th point of the season. Offside or an icing call here against Carolina.
Well, when you get a 2-on-1 rush, you got to at least get a good shot. More often than not, you don't. But on that play, it was well executed and gives Toronto a 2-0 lead.
This kid surprised everybody at the prospect camp, Harry. He had a terrific camp in July. He just kept getting better at the rookie camp before the big boys came in, and all he's been doing is winning a job ever since with this team. He's been given an opportunity, and I've liked this game, and he just keeps getting more and more confidence on the ice as well.
86 overall in 2011. 20 years old. One thing about the injuries the Leafs have had, a lot of young guys have got chances and more ice time.
And made the most of it.
Right, and when the veterans come back, it'll be interesting to see who survives.
Bouncing
in a cap world when the Leafs are tight to the cap as it is.
Dion Phaneuf will slash it in around the boards. Mason Raymond thought about letting that go. Carl Gunnarsson stood in and Kessel backs him up. Out to the blue line and in. A pass into the slot and Phaneuf knocked it away. Good play by Kessel. We talked about Sekera pinching and not having support. Well, that time Kessel was on his way back, and that allowed Gunnarsson to kind of jump in there and try and keep it in. Backing up the pinch, term that you hear coaches talk about all the time.
It's defenseman's job to make sure a guy's there, and it's a guy who saw the pinch to be sure he is there. Two-way street.
And over the line, a drop pass. Kessel is there. Staal was heading for the bench. Almost too many men on the ice. The Leafs get the puck, and it's off a stick and down into Carolina territory. So icing is waved off. 9 minutes played. Out at center ice it comes. A Staal got a bit of a break there. The puck hit the door. Now here's the chance for Richard Bangle. Down is Bernier. He's getting shoved back into the net, but the whistle brings about a stoppage of play with a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 2-0 Leafs from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. You're watching Molson Canadian Leafs hockey here on Leafs TV. Threes are brought to you by Sokoloff Lawyers. Seriously injured? Don't put it off. Call Sokoloff, the personal injury experts. Visit areyouhurt.ca.
Well, he's got 3 calls from those guys, that's for sure.
Well, Van Riemsdyk, back spasms. Randy Collard gave the press a little bit of an update this morning, saying that he just woke up one morning and, as hockey players, it often happens to them, woke up with a muscle spasms. They're hoping to get him back shortly. He's, again today, had a couple of treatments for today. And he was just
Leafs have had 2 shots on goal and scored on both of them.
Off the boards and played to center ice. Launched back on the wall to the near side. Chopped in on I'm not sure that linesman Brad Kovacic saw that. His back was to the play as the puck comes in on goal. Oh, and a big save by Bernier there. Kovacic joined by Don Henderson of Calgary as the linesman. Brad Watson of Regina and Penticton Steve Pizzari are the referees here tonight. Skinner, Markham native, gets it out into the center ice area, and Ranger pumps it back in. That's going to be an icing charge.
Boy, there's been very few icings tonight. I've never seen the game.
10:07 to play here in period number 2.
another calm save by Bernier. The transition, and it was a broken play that arrived right in front of him, and Dvorak with the shot. Dvorak with a couple of goals already for Carolina, coming over as a free agent. And again, Bernier in perfect position, and his rebound control is excellent also, and it breaks the Leafs out of the zone.
Did you ever play against Dvorak? Sounds like he's been here for decades. Over 1,000 games played in this league. A centering pass, and it's shot by Semin over top of the goal. Side of the net, poked around back to the near side. Here's Eric Stahl. Challenge as the puck comes back to the flow line, and a drive is blocked by Bernier. Ryan Murphy stepped into that, and Bernier made that look like he was picking cherries. It is a 2-0 Toronto lead here in the second period. Josh Leivo with the goal. What a shot. And youngster from Innisfil gets his first NHL goal. Look at the toothless grin on that young man.
And he'll be able to afford, if he stays in the league, he'll be able to afford a nice two.
That's right.
It was a good shot. I thought Ward went down too early.
Sure did. Gave the top half of the net away right away, Harry.
Centering pass. Knocked high off a stick and into the screen. 9:38 to go here in the period, and Terry pointed out the Leafs had 12 shots in the first period. They've had 2 in the second, and both have ended up in behind Cam Ward. So the modus operandi that has been criticized of this team, being outshot, has turned its head again as the Hurricanes have 18 shots thus far in the game.
And Ruutu trying to stir things up and get a little energy for his group here against Dion Phaneuf. I think Phaneuf isn't going to buy it.
And Ruutu missing a lot of last year, most of last year, and good portion of the start of this season. Now a penalty coming here. And Ruutu, after the tussle with
penalty by him.
Phaneuf, takes a, you're right. So the Leafs get an opportunity with the power play to extend a 2-0 lead.
Kurt Muller saying that Phaneuf was holding on to it, but I mean the stick came right up into the face of Dion Phaneuf right there. I mean, he's got it right up around his ears.
So the Leafs to the power play, high sticking to Ruutu, and the Leafs over 3 with a man advantage thus far. They've been very good with the power play, second in the NHL, 33.3% coming into the game. And Ruutu for high sticking. Knocked out of the air and low enough by Franson to play it. Back in along the boards. Bolin couldn't push it into the corner. Kessel chases, and Franson stands in, and this allows Patrick Dwyer in over the line. His shot, and down is Bernier to take it, and he's going to hold for a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Good back check there by Bolin to pick up the man, but it looked like it was going to be a 2-on-1. Now he comes back, he realizes what's happened, he puts his head down, gets in the middle of the ring, flips over, and takes Stahl to make sure a 2-on-1 pass cannot get goal.
Never too late to back check, never too late to get the loose guy. The guy without the puck's the most dangerous guy in the ring. On many occasions, back down into the Leaf zone it goes, and now minute 28 to go in the power play. 2-0 Toronto. Lupul in over the line. Toe drags, now sends it back for Riley over on the far side. Gardner sends it back. Riley with it once more. Now to Kadri. Kadri down low and into the corner to Raymond. Dishes off to Kadri. Thought about going to the front of the net. Comes back to Morgan Riley. Now back to Kadri again. Kadri down low. Centering pass. Lupul at right on. There's a rebound. And Kadri was there but couldn't get the puck on his stick. And it is cleared out and down the ice by Jiri Tlusty. Gardner starts out slowly in his own zone, gathers a little momentum and finds Lupul, who peppers it around the boards. Mason Raymond trying to protect it with his skate. Stahl is in there. In arrives Lupul to take his man Hainsey to the boards. Puck comes free. Here's Raymond back to the goal. Couldn't get to it. Stahl does. Sends it out on a wing, and now Gardner chasing back to make sure Stahl is covered. But here's Dwyer in. Dwyer going wide, couldn't center. Good block made there by Morgan Riley. Just 10 seconds left in this power play. Time for one more rush. Bozak drops it back. Morgan Riley fed it ahead. That hit a skate coming off the bench. And although the skate was not on the ice, it did make contact with the puck. So face off in the center ice area.
Hey Leafs Nation, just a reminder to follow at Maple Leafs and the TML Talk hashtag on Twitter for a chance to win great surprises.
So the face-off in the center ice area, the officials are talking about it a little bit, whether too many men on the ice, but Phaneuf wasn't on the ice yet.
Even though he blocked the shot.
No, he's not going to let them change.
So the face-off is outside the blue line. Just 1 second left in the penalty to Ruutu. 7:36 to go in the second period. The Leafs have scored twice in this frame. Lupul and Josh Leivo with his first NHL goal. Ranger to Bozak. A bank pass for the speeding Kessel, but offside. And it'll be brought back into the Toronto zone.
The best two chances that Carolina have had in this game, both times they fanned. One on a 2-on-1 and then a breakaway where Jordan Stahl didn't even get a shot. And this was when the game was still 0-0. And Carolina's had their chances. And Bernier's been excellent also.
Nash in the corner. Lays it around back of the goal to the near side. Harrison sweeps it back from whence it came. Side of the goal. Nash couldn't get a shot. Now back of the net for Dvorak. The veteran works into the corner. Still has it. Gets it back to the blue line. Murphy holds. Sends it into the corner. Ranger got in the way. Now gets it ahead. And Kadri gets it out at center ice. That went off Harrison's stick, they say, so no icing. And it didn't make the end line anyway. Ryan Murphy up on the left wing side for Skinner. Jeff Skinner to center across the line. Little toe drag move, but knocked away and brought back by David Brohl. Up ahead for Lupul. Onto the wing it goes to Franson. Franson sends it to the net. Deflected wide of the goal by Ward. Bounds to Kadri. Kadri cycles it back in, and changes are coming for Toronto. Sekera drops back. Plays it off the boards to center. Riley stepped up to prevent that, but Sekera follows in. Ruutu had a bit of a speed wobble there, and it's played out into the center ice area. Well, it wasn't really a speed wobble. He wasn't going that fast. He just wobbled. Back at center ice it comes, and it is played back by Ruutu into the Carolina zone. 14 minutes played in the second period. 2-0 Leafs. Long shot. Bernier is there to take that on the chest again off the stick of Justin Falk, and he will hold on. Lupul with his sixth, Leivo with his first NHL goal.
Stanley Cup in the 05-06 season, and then they've had some difficult times since. They lose Ron Francis to begin with. That's never easy when you have a franchise player like that. But I can tell you one thing, they're in a bit of a rebuild now, and they've got some good young players, and Jimmy Rutherford's a terrific manager, and it won't be long before this team's heard from again.
Only 2 players left that played on that Stanley Cup team. Ward and
Dahl.
Rod Grindamore's on the coaching staff. He played on.
Played off the boards to center. Brindamore, of course, was the captain of that Stanley Cup team. You better not forget about the vice president of hockey operations, who had a hand in a lot of things in that area too, Ron Francis, who been an integral part of their operation for many, many years.
He wasn't part of
Wasn't not that team, no,
No,
exactly.
he wasn't part of the Cup team, Joe,
Yeah.
but he's been a big part of this organization as well, working beside Jim Rutherford. And I would imagine someday when Jim wants to move up to be a president or move along, which I don't think he'll want to do because he's a hockey man. And but do you think Ronnie at some point will maybe be the next one in line to take over this franchise?
Well, maybe someone else may want him to be the general manager.
Funny business, you never know.
No, you're right. Mr. Karmanos, of course, the owner of the team. He and Jim Rutherford have had a long-standing association dating back to junior hockey. And a shot glove by Ward. Then he lost the puck. In fact, he still doesn't have it. It was out the back of his glove. But no one found it there, and it is held, and there'll be a face-off.
One of the challenges with Carolina, although they're right at the cap this year, has been the budget situation. A small market team in Carolina, they can't operate like a lot of the teams in the league, and that's been a huge challenge. And Kurt Muller, they got a good coach behind the bench now. They got some good young players coming, and it's only a matter of time, as I mentioned before, this franchise gets it going again.
Kurt Muller played 19 seasons in the NHL with 6 different teams, including the Toronto Maple Leafs. Down into the corner it goes, backhanded around back of the net by Harrison. And with 4:50 to play in the period, it's out off Skinner's skate into the Toronto zone. Lupul is able to come out with it and carries it out at center with a pass for Kadri. And Brohl offside. David Brohl in about a half stride earlier, and Jeff Skinner, not from Skinner's Pond like the famous Stompin' Tom, but up the way up in Markham, and he's played very, very well for this team.
13 goals in 52 games, and only 5 in the last little while. 51 goals, in 146 games. But he has been in a bit of a goal slump after winning the Rookie of the Year award.
2 goals, 5 assists thus far, leads the team in points.
Yeah, and this year he changed his fitness regime and went with Sidney Crosby, fitness man, and he's had a good start to the season. They say he's got a lot more jump here early in his game.
Calder Trophy winner in 2011, and a bouncing shot in on goaltender Bernier as Talusti deflected that right at the hash marks in front of him. And that gave him just enough time to readjust and get a piece of that puck. Watch this deflection.
Good work to get the puck through. It was deflected by Talusti on a good point shot. And again, boy, as Bernier Sharpson's coming in, he's seeing pucks that are redirected right in front of him and moving into them.
The Leafs need, here's a chance and a break for Raymond, but he can't get around the defenseman Falk. Played around back of the net. Leafs have not won a season series with the Hurricanes since the 06-07 season. They have been a nemesis. Playing down in first at Southeast Division and now into the Metropolitan Conference. Still having trouble with that. Hit around the boards far side. Semin tied up. Bozak got it along for Kessel. Flip back for Bozak. He tries to elude Justin Falk. Left it there for Raymond, who gives it to Kessel. Kessel back to the blue line to Gardner. Gardner over to Phaneuf. Couldn't shoot it. Now he does. Sends it in wide. Too far. Kessel couldn't reach it. Sekera signs that his team is in need of a change, as do the Leafs. As it's played to center ice, Gardner got there first, and Lebo's back in over the line with Boland. His shot is off the mark wide, and it was a good one. And it goes off the dasher board and up into the screen and out of play.
Palusti, Stahl, and Semin last year put some pretty good numbers up on the board for the Carolina Hurricanes in 48 games, 135 points. But they're back together tonight. They were separated in Chicago, and as I mentioned earlier, Stahl's having a slow start. Spending most of the season, or summer rather, getting back, rehabbing his injury that happened at the World Championship.
Played out at center. Jordan Stahl couldn't reach it. Kept in at the blue line. Levo got over there to tie up his man. The puck comes back to the point. Murphy didn't shoot it. Now works the line and sends it into the corner. Jordan Stahl playing it into an empty corner. Quickly played ahead by the Maple Leafs. Franson. Levo left wing side. Jay McClement needed to be the size of a basketball player to straddle that line. He came up about a foot short, and it was offside.
Risked having a hernia there trying to stay on side. Why do they call them hernias? Why don't they call them hisnias?
You're going to have to ask someone else on that. I wouldn't know that.
With your medical background, I knew you wouldn't. I just asked it anyway.
Played out at center ice. Here's Jake Gardiner back in. Kadri, Lupul, sharp angle, and Ward.
I think Lupul thought that Ward might come out to face the guy that he thought Lupul was going to pass it to. And Lupul tried to bounce one off his pads or his arm into the net. It didn't quite work, but it wasn't a bad idea.
He almost got him leaning here. You watch Lupul, he's got his head up and he's trying to bank it in. You're right off, and Bull doing a good job going to the net.
Face off one, and Lupul's shot is off the mark wide. Ranger trying to keep it in as it rolls into the zone. That's blocked by Bernier. Now he's in trouble, but he was so close to Jeff Skinner. Skinner couldn't get it around him.
It was one of the better poke checks I've seen tonight.
And Bernier is so good with the puck, and he normally does not make a play like this. It was rolling on him a little bit. But what you like about Bernier is how he reacted afterwards. Instead of swimming or panicking, he just stayed with the play and got his stick into the shot. And here's the play. It's a bit rolling here. It's flattened out for him, but he just fans on it, goes over his stick, and there he is. Sticks his stick right out in front of him, and then deflects the puck out of harm's way.
And Gardiner got back so that Skinner couldn't step around him and go to the empty net. That forced Skinner into making an early decision that turned out to be beneficial to Bernier.
Well, he was in trouble.
Yes, he was. Oh, you get out there, you're in trouble. I don't care who you are. Here's Kadri back into the slot, and it didn't reach David Brohl. Brought back now by Eric Stahl. He works in on the right wing side, goes into the corner after it. Stahl trying to make a play, can't. And it is banged into the corner and around on the wall. Kadri trying to get to it. Eric Stahl has 36 points in 33 games against Toronto in his career. His brother, 16 points in 22 games, mostly with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now Gardiner into the corner. Phaneuf tries to tie up his man. 1:04 to go in the period. Raymond after it. It comes back into the slot, back to the point. Harrison's drive, block, rebound. Fishing for it was Bernier with his blocking glove, but the Leafs are able to pull it through. Here's Kessel trying to play it around Harrison, who made a nice play to stay with the Leaf winger, and then backhanded the safety back of his goal. Pass intercepted by Franson. Franson tried to find Bozak. That was knocked down by Ron Hainsey. And a delayed offside now at the Toronto blue line. And Jordan Stahl in there deep is going to keep the linesman's arm up until he needs some absorbing junior.
He's one of the older linesmen. He needs absorbing senior.
Back in over the line, Nash. That bounces high and comes to the near boards. Sent around into the corner. Played up on the wall. Levo got it out. Raced for it. Bolin unable to reach it. Carl Gunnarsson. Back to Cody Franson, out into the center ice area. The Leafs are going to carry a 2-0 lead to the dressing room. Levo tries to make it three, and time will run out as the youngster who got his first NHL goal came rather close to potting a second before time expired.
Well, the Leafs with a better second period than first period, although they still aren't getting the puck on the net. You wonder how many shots go wide and how many are blocked, rather than just how many they don't get.
But defensively, I thought a very efficient period for the Maple Leafs. The one area they've been much better in tonight is in the neutral zone. They've had lots of players back, few rush chances in that second period against Toronto, and they were very efficient in the neutral zone, which created some rush chances for themselves.
Lupul and Levo, 2-0 Toronto. So Jonathan Bernier, who had to come 32 seconds into the game when James Reimer was struck in the head by Josh Levo coming back into his own end, has been letter perfect here. And we're ready to go with the third period. It is fired down into the Toronto zone. Semin unable to get to it. It's back of the net. And it is Stahl playing it into the corner. He and Chalewski try to cycle it, but the Leafs take it away, and Kessel comes out. Long shot goes just wide of the net. Now thrown back in by Carl Gunnarsson. They're going to call it offside.
And in case you've just joined us, the big story here early in the game, and I mean early, the first shift, is when Reimer couldn't control the rebound. He jumps out to get it, and when he does, Josh Levo ends up running right over him, kneeing him in the head. And Bernier came in at that point of the game, and Bernier's been excellent ever since.
There's a report in the press box that Brett Willows, the University of Toronto goaltender, also from Manitoba, has been summoned, and he's in the dressing room as the shot goes off the side of the goal. Centering pass knocked down by Bernier. So where Scotty McKay had to do it a couple of years ago, the young man is enjoying it. As it's brought back in over the line. A long shot goes wide of the net. John Keenan, back in 1959, who played goal for the University of Toronto. You might remember him, Harry, I'm not sure. He had to come into the game for the Boston Bruins, but played for Boston against Toronto. Harry Lumley of the Bruins was ill, and what an exciting moment for that young man's life. Along the boards and into the corner. University of Toronto was a pretty good hockey team in those days.
Who do you think I played for 2 years?
I was leading you into it, but those years we want to forget about.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs here with a penalty is Nazem Kadri. This is the one thing the Leafs with a 2-0 lead, they just don't want to give Carolina any life at all, as they've been pretty quiet in this game, and he takes Nash's feet right underneath him, and that's why he's in the box for 2 or less. And Carolina Hurricane power play, which has been dismal all season long, running it at the moment before tonight 12%, 23rd in the league. It's not been great. It's been a little better in this game as they've had good puck movement, but nothing to show for it.
Awful when your power play is less percentage than a bottle of beer.
Third time the Leafs have been a man short in the game. Draw won by Carolina. The shot, block save, rebound! Oh my! Your power play's not going to get any better when you miss 4x6s. And that was sent in all alone. Grayson Bowman sent it wide.
I don't know. If Bernier threw his right leg out after he was down and out, it might have ticked his pad. We'll have to look at the replay.
Well, let's get a look at that. But
and they're telling me in the truck it went right over the top of it. But he threw that pad to cover the lower half of the net.
They got over there, yep. Bouncing puck, Stahl, a shot right on. Big save, another shot. Down is Bernier, and he covers up on it. Ruutu had another great chance, and he's arguing that maybe he was interfered with.
Another situation of how Bernier stays upright on rebound opportunities, and in his perfect position, he skates across in his knees. Here's the first one. As Bernier finds it through traffic, gets his pad over, and it goes right over his pad. And then moments ago, he skates across in his knees and robs Ruutu.
To the line, kept in by Murphy. To far side, a shot. Down is Bernier, and he has that.
Nobody in front of the net in a white uniform, so that was an easy stop on a hard shot.
Shaw will be to his right. Another look at it, Herring. No one there.
Get right out the top of the crease, cut the angle down.
Shot went wide of the goal. Back to the blue line to Murphy. He sends it over to the near side. It bounds in front of the net and shot out and down the ice by Paul Ranger. 50 seconds left in the penalty. And the Leafs being outshot again, 29-18. Nice move here. Murphy's in, and he shot it wide off a stick. Skinner to Murphy, a drive, scores! That's deflected, and into the net it goes.
Well, Murphy let the shot go, but as you mentioned, it may be deflected. I don't think it was.
And it's a goal of first for OHL graduates as Levo gets his first, and now young Murphy from the Kitchener Rangers gets his first National Hockey League goal. This kid has been playing very well so far this year. He's got a huge offensive upside and a big-time shot. And Ryan Murphy just blasts this one, and you think he'll always remember this in Toronto. He's watched many Leaf games here. I know that as a young kid.
Did that not go off Boland's stick? I think it did. I think that went off Dave Boland's stick coming across.
And former teammates for the Kitchener Rangers, as Skinner, who rooms with Ryan Murphy, sets him up. And how fitting is that?
And all played for Steve Spock last year, including Josh Lever.
Well, he's got 3 assists, so it's a nice start to an NHL career, I would say, for a rookie.
And a big goal here that cuts the margin in half, and it's 2-1. And we're getting word that it definitely hit Boland's stick. That was going low and rocketed up into the top shelf. We'll get another look at it when we get an opportunity. A Stahl and Bozak, and now Bozak waved out. Mason Raymond will move in. Here's a look at it here. Watch this.
Boland trying to get out, definitely goes off the stick, and Bernier with no chance off the top.
A whistling shot there, goes high and wide. The Leafs now protecting a 1-goal lead as it is shot down into the Toronto zone. Franson chopping at it. Kessel unable to get it out. Franson settles it down, and now round back of the net, played by Riley, but cut off by Alexander Semin. Skinner gets the lone assist, but the Canes are right back into it. Down is Bernier, and he has found it in the blue paint.
Carolina hanging around in this game. They didn't have much life at all for the first 2 periods, but now with that goal, you'll see this ice tilted a bit. Ryan Murphy, of course, from Aurora, Ontario. So I think he's excited about getting that goal, and there is Bernier again as he holds his ground against Stahl, who's right on the doorstep.
Got those pads closed up just in time. And the face-off to the left. It's a long 16 minutes and 24 seconds to protect a 1-goal lead. Here's Lupul laying it down into the Carolina zone. The Leafs have had just 18 shots, none in this third period. Lupul around back of the net. Gets it back to the blue line to Gardner. Dished off to Lupul. His shot is deflected, and it's just wide. Boland into the corner. Lupul and Kadri trying to add some forechecking pressure. And it is launched high out at center ice by Carolina. Bouncing puck that ends up on the stick of Riley Nash. Nash carries back to the net. Ranger knocked it away from him. Gardner now in trouble over there. Loses the puck as it comes around into the near corner. A hit there by Ranger. Freed it up. But the puck given away. Skinner steps in. Gardner got back. Skinner's backhand went just wide of the net. David Brohl trying to pin it to the boards. And the officials imploring him to move it. It does get moved. Belmore's shot is off his skate, and Ranger's skate has deflected it. It ended up going over the glass and past the net, and a fan did a cartwheel out of the stands.
Didn't spill a drop.
No, well, good. Right by you, Henny. Maybe you could autograph it for him.
And now with this aggressive forecheck, 3 forwards on the puck for Carolina as they are going for it here early in the third period as they've gained a lot of life from that goal to get back in the game.
It rolls out into the center ice area. Levo chasing. Harrison gets it ahead. Backhanded by Dwyer back into the zone. Drop pass, Dwyer shot. Deflects wide of the goal. Branson in the corner. Along the boards for Lebo. Lebo got it down to play it on the boards. Branson trying to assist. It comes in front. And Wiley plays it off the boards to center. Wired right back in again. This bounds out in front. Riley is able to get it up on the wing. And McClement with a nice little touch pass for Dave Bolland in on goal. Centers! Oh, loose puck in front! And McClement couldn't stop it home with Ward out of the picture. Branson. Now to Riley. Across the line for Jay McClement. In for Kadri. Couldn't get a shot. Takes it to the boards. McClement is able to dig it free. Looking for an outlet. McClement to the boards, and now Kadri cycles into the corner. Kadri works back. Grabbed onto there. Spinook sends it back behind the net. Lebo couldn't reach it. Carl Gunnarsson pinches. Puck's got high in the air, and it landed right on the stick of David Brohl, who managed to get a shot away, and Ward had found it too.
We have a good 2-on-1 rush here. We've seen a pile of 2-on-1s tonight. The coaches won't like that. Bolland gets the puck across, but the goaltender stopped the pass across.
McClement was wide open.
Yeah.
All he had to do was tuck it back here, Harry, and a great defensive play right there. Coming back into the play was Dwyer to save a goal.
He was so close to the goal line, I don't think he thought he could shoot it into the net on the forehand, and by the time he got to the backhand, the chance was gone. Laid out into the center ice area. Gunnarsson trying to send it back, has it go off the stick of Alexander Semin and into the crowd and out of play. Leafs TV proud to present Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. For hockey, brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Well, we've featured him a lot this year, and rightly so, because once again tonight, Jonathan Bernier coming in a difficult situation just after the game started when his partner went down what we think is a possible concussion, and he's been unbelievable here. Perfect position, his rebound controls is spot on again, and the goal that just beat him earlier in this third period was a redirect that he had absolutely no chance on.
Fired into the Toronto zone by Sekera, left by Bernier. Around on the boards, Kessel ties up his man to allow the puck to squirt to center. Fault turns. Bouncing disc off a body. Fault will try it again. And here's Andrei Sekera with it again, getting it ahead at center. Played in over the line by Stahl. Carl Gunnarsson goes after Yuri Chaluzny and is able to play it up on the wing. Raymond trying to get to it but can't. Shot blocked, but Stahl in great position, scores! Carl Gunnarsson blocked the pass, but they set it up on a tee. And Eric Stahl, who's been a Leaf killer, makes no mistake.
Well, Carolina were down 2-0 to enter the third period against the Stanley Cup champions at home a couple of nights ago, and they came back to lose the game in a shootout. They did tie it up in the third, and here's the play. It goes around the boards. The Leafs don't get it out, and then a broken play afterwards, and Stahl in position A makes no mistake as he just whips it up over top of Jonathan Bernier. That's a terrific shot by a real good player. There's the initial play as Raymond can't trap the puck on the boards, and then the puck hits Gunnarsson. He gets caught in no man's land, and it ends up right on the stick of Stahl to tie this game up.
That's Stahl's 37 points, and this is last 34 games against the Leafs.
Third of the season has tied the game at 2s. And so the Maple Leafs, who may have been employing the rope-a-dope theory again, allowing 32 shots, are going to have to open up some offensive gems as the shot is juggled. And then Jordan Stahl took a swipe at the puck and hit Bernier in the chest. And that always draws the wrath of anyone standing in the vicinity. And I don't think there's going to be a penalty.
The third period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Tim Hortons, Canada's favorite coffee, and by Shop.ca. Canada shops at Shop.ca, Canada's largest store.
Well, one of the issues the Leafs have had is Jordan Stahl 69% in the draw, Eric 56% in the draw tonight. They'll even get some puck possession. There's Jordan with the extra shot after Bernier makes a good save from the point. That's got the Leafs' attention.
Out into the center ice area. And a face-off coming outside the blue line. So a 2-2 tie. And the Carolina Hurricanes have fought back after Lupul and Levo scored in the second period. Murphy and Stahl have scored here. Ron Hainsey gets it out at center ice. Brought on now by Skinner. His shot was a hard one, but it was over top of the net. Pumped back of the goal by Drayson Bowman. Skinner trying to play it back along. And it is stolen by Toronto and brought out now by Cody Franson. He chips it in over the line. Luke will run into there by Bellemare. Puck along the boards, comes back to Morgan Riley and sends it to the front of the net. Shot, oh, and sprawling to block that was Brett Bellemare. Young man from Windsor, Ontario, and a former Plymouth Whaler may have saved a goal. There's a shot right on. And Ward just does have that pin between arm and body. And there'll be a face-off in the Carolina zone.
I kind of like Bellemare's game tonight. Another one of the good young players that Carolina is developing. And he just saves a goal here as the rebound gets away from Cam Ward. And there's Bellemare sprawling to help out his goaltender.
Young man who was the 162nd pick, a sixth-round selection by the Hurricanes in 2007. 25 years young. He saved the goal. Blocking arm save Ward. Here's Stahl, who tied the game, getting it to center. In over the line. In our opening, Harry, you mentioned that Eric Stahl had started slowly, but this guy's probably going to lead this team in scoring.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't. If he's got to stay healthy, that'll be his number one objective.
He'll also be a key member, I would think, come February. At the blue line, Gunnarsson, Phaneuf shot off a leg wide, side of the net. Pass for Kessel didn't work. Bozak after it as it comes back to the blue line. Gunnarsson can't deliver it at the net, so he plays it back to the goal. And it is gobbled up there by Falk. Now for Sekera. Andrei Sekera starts out of his own zone, waits as his teammates get a change on the forward line. Pass comes ahead for Jordan Stahl. Poland almost picked the pocket of Justin Falk there. But Falk now sends it down into the Toronto zone. Leads 2, and the Hurricanes 2. Poland into the corner, up ahead for Jay McClement, who was knocked down. He got it out over the line, but now brought out by Ranger, whose pass was partially blocked and knocked down into Carolina territory. McClement knocked down at the blue line. Pass up the middle intercepted. Chip to the near wing. McClement is in over the line. He's going to play it in deep and try to get around Ryan Murphy. Knocked down on the play. Murphy comes out with the puck. And the Aurora native gets it up on the boards, but Derby couldn't get it out. Here's the diminutive Ethan Gerby shooting it off the glass and down into the Toronto zone. Round back of the net is Dvorak. Dvorak looking in front, peeping in there was Bellemare as it comes back to the blue line. And a screenshot went by Bernier, and I think he heard that. Now a shot stopped in front. There's a loose puck in front of the goal, taken to safety by Kadri, but not cleared. And then Bellemare almost gave it away to Lupul. But on the far side, a drive stopped by Bernier, rebound. High stick making contact. Wouldn't have been a goal, but the Leafs are able to get it free now and now try to move it out. Lupul having some difficulties with it, just gets it out over the line. Shot back in again, and Gardner's there.
Sorry, Joe, turnovers now really coming to the forefront. The Leafs can't get it out of their zone. They're turning it over the neutral zone, and that's why they haven't had much zone time in Carolina zone in this third period.
Mason Raymond couldn't get into the zone. Riley backpedaling, gets it ahead for Raymond. That did not make any contact and will result in an icing charge. Although the Leafs had gotten most of the change done, there will be a couple of players that have been on for a while, and Randy Carlyle, you can see, is not a happy camper at this particular point.
Well, when you get up 2-0 and 2 periods have gone, and all of a sudden the league disappears, if you were coaching, you'd be upset too.
He's been upset for a while, but his team's been winning, so he couldn't be real mad, Harry, but he has not liked the way his group has played.
Raymond doesn't get it into the zone. Now gets a second try at it. Diagonal shooting this time will get it deep. Bozak in against the wall, battling in there with Kessel. Since the start of the second period, the Leafs have been outshot 25-11. But both teams have scored twice. Here's Eric Stahl sending it to the net. Directed wide by Bernier. Coming out of the corner with it is Gerby. Gerby back towards the blue line, has it go off Mason Raymond, and it's pushed ahead and off Raymond. Gerby trying to get to it, and so is Carl Gunnarsson. Gerby gets it in over the line. Assistant able to tie things up, and the Hurricanes get it back in off a deflection by Jordan Stahl. Carl Gunnarsson was held there a little bit by Patrick Dwyer, but no call. Now here's Phaneuf. A quick pass deflected down into the zone by Kessel, and back into the zone it goes. They high into the Toronto end. No call there for icing. And it's out at center ice and shot in by Dave Bolland. Phil Kessel has been held at just 2 shots on goal.
Been real quiet today. Doesn't have much going at all.
At center and to the line. Offside is called as Skinner tried to move in there. Now we get some pushing and shoving, and roaring in there is Brett Belmore. And that has everybody tangled up in front of the net. And at this particular point, Knuckles Bernier has been left alone. So, a break in the action here. The game is tied at 2s at the ACC.
2 with 7:37 to play in the third period. Just a reminder, Canada shops at Shop.ca. Shop.ca, Canada's largest store.
So the face-off outside the blue line and a 2-2 tie.
7:37 to go. This is overtime almost.
Draw one by the Hurricanes and sent in over the line. If it is overtime, it's something the Hurricanes are quite familiar with.
And haven't enjoyed.
No. Down into the zone for Hainsey and around on the far side. Chopped at, grabbed off by Nash. Fed ahead, Dvorak, 2-on-1 break. Going to the net, Belmore! And he couldn't get the puck. Leafs trying to counterattack, but the defenseman trapped. Lupul. A pass just deflected into the zone and out of the net. Ward to play it away from Kadri. Errant pass. This could be a nice. Scores! Oh my! Jonathan Quick of Los Angeles had a brain cramp, and Jonathan Bernier has had one here.
You thought it was going to be icing, didn't you?
I did, and they're discussing it now.
Because now, of course, you don't have to wait till somebody touches it.
Did Bernier think that?
No, I think he just plain misplayed it. It was not touched, I believe. And as long as it's not touched, that's icing, and then it comes off the boards, and you can see the reaction by Jonathan Bernier on the play. Takes his eyes off the puck for a moment, and it goes off the inside of his skate into the net. He just plain fans on it.
The linesman down deep waved it off. No icing.
Yeah, and
My goodness.
if it hits a stick on the way, it's different, but if it doesn't.
Now Randy Carlyle's going to get the explanation from Brad Watson.
Isn't it if the goalie comes out to play it?
Yes.
That the icing's waved off?
Well, there was never, I don't believe
that. There was never an issue that.
It was never, he took off, bounce off the glass and off his foot and into the net.
Oh my. 13:04, the time of the biggest break of this season. Dion Phaneuf back to tap his goaltender on the pads, but what a break here. Ron Hainsey is going to get credit for the goal.
It was always icing.
Hainsey hadn't scored a goal until he scored against Chicago on Tuesday night in 122 games going back to his days in Atlanta.
Now it's hot. Wow. Cam Ward's going to get the assist. But here's where that hybrid icing is an issue, I suppose, because Bernier obviously did not play that.
He just miscued it, Joe. Simple as that. He went to play it. It was coming into his crease. He misplayed it. And unfortunately for Bernier, hit him in the foot and went in. It's that simple.
Well, the crowd is in stunned silence at this point, and now the Leafs late in a third period trail in a hockey game. Played down into the corner. Around the boards it goes. And out at center ice and played down into the Toronto zone. Round back of the net, trying to come up with it is Nathan Gerbe. Knocked down on the play, but is able to get a piece of the puck there against McClement, and Cody Franson is able to dig it free. Out into the center ice area it goes. Well, the Leafs trailed the Edmonton Oilers 5-4 until 19:29 of the third period to keep their streak going in a 6-5 overtime victory. Now they have 5:20 to go to try and find an equalizer after a strange goal. Here's a chance for Skinner. Stopped by Bernier, and he covers up on it. We'll go to commercial break. Everybody take a deep breath. It is 3-2 Carolina.
So if it hits a stick on the way, it isn't icing, but it doesn't. And so the linesman will just put his arm up for icing, which is the correct call.
And then the other linesman, who you can't see, waved it off.
Well, as soon as it hits Bernier here, he waves it off, and then, of course, it goes in the net.
There's the linesman who makes the call.
He's yelling icing all the way.
He's not the linesman that makes the call. It's the one down deep you can't see that waved it off. That's the referee over on the other side.
And the reason that he waved it off is because they felt that the Carolina player was in position ahead of Riley. And the hybrid icing then goes to the offensive team, and Bernier simply nonchalanted it, if you will, and into the net it went. Now it's icing. And 19,000 linesmen in the building decide to react to that. Well, lesson learned. Hybrid icing, you cannot, however, he misplayed it obviously, but he, I think, took for granted that the icing was going to be called, and it was not. We'll find out when they talk to him after the game. Right now, the Leafs have 4:44 with which to work to try and get their goaltender off the hook.
Oh, he just plain misplayed it, Joe. Period.
Here's Kessel in over the line. Kessel with a snapshot, and the 5-hole closed up there by Cam Ward. The face-off will be to the left.
Tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Dave Bolin will take the face-off to the left of Cam Ward. They'll draw a scrum that goes into the corner. Bolin arrives there, gets it around back of the net. Jay McClement to Josh Leivo, off the boards to Gunnarsson, and as he tried to go D-to-D to his partner, it came out over the line. Leafs in Chicago on Saturday, then return to host Anaheim Tuesday. Here's Bolland in. Playing it around the boards, back of the net. McClement to Leivo, to Gunnarsson. Sent back in along. Leivo couldn't keep it in for him, and it's down into the Toronto zone. Changes coming for both teams. Off the boards for Jay McClement. Played in along the boards. Fulton sends it around back to the net. Flyer on the far boards, pounces on it. Gerbe got it out. Nice play by Stahl to take that out of the air. Stahl in over the line. Pass into the slot area, doesn't work. It's still free, and Riley shows you some quickness there to take it to safety. Now up the middle. Off the stick of Kadri, onto the stick of Raymond, up on the right side for Lupo. Lupo, stick handles through! And his shot went high and ends up in the screen. Did it go off the crossbar? The delivery of the game is presented by Purolator. Excitement delivered.
An icing play. It goes into the crease, so Bernier goes to play it. And when he does, he just plain fans on him. Hits him in the big toe and goes in the net. Tough play for the goalie. And quite honestly, on a play like that as a goalie, all you can really do is, I mean, it's not funny. Particularly when you're the cause of a situation late in the game. You just got to let it go. Sometimes it
Not
happens.
much you can,
Yeah, it
yeah.
happens. Bernier's made a couple of saves since then.
Playing around the boards to the near side. Riley back of the net. Lupul tried to center, hit the back of the goal. It does come out, and then pinching down is Franson. Franson in the corner. He's around back of the net with it, trying to find an opening. Finds Morgan Riley. Shot deflects in front of the goal, and the quick hands of Cam Ward has put an end to that scoring effort.
And you know what the guys on the bench are saying? We owe the goalie one, because they know that Bernier throughout this season already, as young as it is, has bailed that team out more than once. So this group now, I can tell you on the bench saying, come on guys, we owe them one. And you can see at the moment the Leafs have picked up their intensity level a little bit since they've going down by a goal.
2:39 to play, third period. 3-2 Carolina. Draw one by the Leafs, and Levo with a slash at it didn't get it past the defenseman's skate. Ranger pinches, and now Raymond trying to make sure that it's not, and a nice play made by Gardner to knock that pass out of the air. Bernier leaving it back of the goal for Gardner. Well, this early hockey season has seen some rather long scoring plays. Centering pass doesn't go onto the stick of Raymond, and it is played to the line but not out. Ranger barges down the wall to try and keep it in, has it in his skates, can't get it in any deeper, and it is pushed to center ice past Levo, and Gardner will go back. 1:50 to go. Now a giveaway and a wrapper on the tip coming out. The shot by Skinner went wide. Gardner lost it back of the net. Phaneuf. A pass up onto the left wing side. Raymond was going to the bench. Will be played down into the Toronto end. We'll keep an eye on Bernier.
You got an LA King and Jonathan Quick with a goal like that, and a former LA King.
You think they'll be talking to one another tonight? Here's Lupul coming out, and so is Bernier. Lupul weaves in on the right wing side. Sends it in on goal. Big rebound! Oh, what a chance that was for Bozak! And he came up wanting. Net empty down to our right, and the puck controlled by Toronto with 1:07 to go. Kessel, rink wide, Phaneuf, out at center and chopped in over the line. Racing in there after it, Bozak, but what a chance he had to tie the game. This, Franson, look, I think he might have hurt himself trying to skate that way, but he looked. For all of you older viewers, J.C. Tremblay couldn't have done that any better, Harry.
I think I thought it was Tiny Tim limping over to get some Easter eggs.
Here's Lupul going end to end. And the chance is Bozak later right there. And a timeout call. Cody Franson looked like he was trying to work through some quicksand.
It worked.
It did. So the face-off is to the right in the Carolina zone. 51.5 seconds left in the third period. And almost a 200-foot shot by Ron Hainsey is the difference in this hockey game, 3-2. Out comes Kessel, Bozak, Lupul, Kadri, Phaneuf, and Franson. The six attackers. The draw scrummed and won. Kessel with it now, tries to send it in the goal post. Franson pushes it around back of the net for Lupul. Lupul loses it, played off the glass and out at center. But no icing?
can't do it
Oh,
twice.
never mind. I give up. Here's a chance diving for it with Kadri. Playing around on the boards and into the corner. Dvorak. Unable to get to it. Sent out at center for Dwyer. Bumped there by Kadri. And the puck turned over, but a penalty to Kadri.
Well, it was from behind, but it certainly wasn't very physical.
And Kadri almost tied this game up as he rattles one right off the post here and has Ward beat cleanly up top. And then in the same shift, moments afterwards, a little shot from behind. Yep, right on the letters. That's why he's in the box.
So with 14.5 seconds to go, Carolina has the face-off where they want it in the manpower situation that they want as they look to win their second on the road this season. As boarding at 19:45 to Kadri. Down into the corner it goes, Eric Staal. Far side, Gardner, 6 seconds left. Punches it out at center, it's rattled away. That'll do it. A very strange ending to this hockey game. And there is the winning goal scorer, Ron Hainsey.
And a tough feeling for Jonathan Bernier. At the end of the day, it was icing, then the hybrid rule waved it off, but it doesn't matter because Bernier went to play it anyway, and when he played it, he just misplayed it. And it ended up in the net, and nobody feels worse than Jonathan Bernier at the moment in this entire building.
Well, when you have a 2-0 lead at home and a team that you're playing against doesn't look like they're too involved, and you blow the 2-0 lead and then get outlucked in the end.
Tough one to handle. Tonight's 3 stars from Toronto, brought to you by Molson Canadian. Die-hard fan and proud partner of the Leafs. Eric Staal, star number 1, his 17th career goal versus the Leafs. Josh Lebo, his first NHL goal, and Ryan Murphy from Aurora, his first National Hockey League goal as well. The Leafs dropped to 3-2 on home ice and 6-2 on the season as the Carolina Hurricanes continue their mastery over the Leafs.